Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of Bloodhound Pix. We are changing it up because we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful podcast network. And so in changing it up and giving you more of a consistent, so you know what to look for each week, we are doing our first month, the first Tuesday of the month will be dedicated towards our double features, which you are well aware of, where we focus on an independent or obscure movie. The second Tuesday will be our industry, where we talk about a series of topics within the community or interview independent people within the community. The third, let's go with the fourth, will be our Horror Not Fear campaign. And then the third, going back, is now we are starting to do a screener spotlight, where even before we did this podcast, we got tons of screeners and we did a lot of reviews as three people on a movie. That's how we kind of came together and what led to this podcast right now. And we figured it'd be a great way to also talk about these movies through the podcast instead of just writing about them, and really, make the bridge between those two mediums. So with all that being said, I'll probably say it for the next few episodes so that you get used to that new format. Or Kyle can just
I think we'll just
capture my voice.
We'll just tweet it.
Yeah. So with that being said, we are talking about a screener we recently got. By the time this comes out, it'll be a couple months, but just Beast Within, the werewolf movie starring Art Hindle, which I was really excited about. It is a werewolf / whodunit kind of murder mystery, in the sense of what you would expect with not the movie but Clue, where somebody is the murderer within this social kind of gathering, and even though there's one main character, it's kind of an ensemble figuring out who did it, but there's a werewolf involved. So you will be able to check out a review, the written one, but if you'd just rather hear us talk about it, we are about to. So Kyle, since he was the first one to watch it, if you want to talk about the Beast Within, but not just Beast Within.
Just Beast Within, not to be confused with Beast Within the Beast Within from the 80s, or The Beast Must Die, which is like the same movie plot, basically. Yeah.
Do you want to do any more synopsis, or who's involved, or anything like that? Or,
I mean, the only thing we would add, I guess, is that it's all about releasing a video game about werewolves. So they're all at this release party at Art Hindle's mansion, who originally made a werewolf board game that's famous, and this is now the video game version.
But wasn't it that he potentially stole it or something, because he's in a lawsuit that he stole?
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that's in there. It's mentioned, and then it's completely forgotten. Okay. Yeah, and it's like, that wasn't necessary at all.
Did the reporter lady bring that up? Because I remember there's that reporter he used to date, and then he manhandles her pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about that either. We're just like, whoa, dude. Okay.
Much. The game designer is Art Hindle, who is known, most people will say Black Christmas, however, better than that. I'm gonna hurt my horror fandom screw it. The better movies, he's in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but more importantly, David Cronenberg's The Brood, which, of course, if you've heard about this podcast, or you listen to this podcast, I'll find any reason to mention that. So I was excited going into that because I love werewolves and I love Art Hindle. He's basically been in any Canadian film too.
That's how you know it's Canadian.
Yeah, it has Art Hindle.
Yeah. I was not excited because I was like, he's not gonna be in it enough, and he really wasn't.
Yeah.
He was one of
Yeah,
he was the best actor in it.
He was actually in it long. Yeah, he was actually in it longer than I thought he would have been. It's not like The Void, where he's where he was in it for like what, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a solid supporting character.
Yeah.
They should have just made him the werewolf, but
spoiler alert for those that.
Yeah, he's not the werewolf, so sorry. The priest was the best part, and Art Hindle were the best part. I think we talked about this in a review. All the tech stuff was like awkward and bullshit. It was just total bullshit. They were just like, it's one of those movies where they're referring to like not only online video games, but just like online culture in the vaguest way possible, because they probably don't want to date it, I guess. Yeah, because that guy has that girl that's his online stalker who tries to kiss him awkwardly, and then he ignores her because she is a cam girl. Yeah, no, that happened. She's a cam girl, and he doesn't approve of it, and then he changes his mind because she's hot. And we also don't talk about that ever again. And I'm like, it's 2020, and this guy, like, who the fuck is this dude? Who cares if she's a cam girl?
So the main character is supposed to be the it guy. He's the head game designer that they're putting as the poster, which, you know, I have played a video game, you know, and it's in our review every 6 months or so. I'll play some video games, whatever. I felt like I knew more about video games and explaining it than is explained in that movie. And I don't know anything about it, but that's kind of one of those things that it felt in the same way, but I enjoy it more, as the movie Hackers.
Oh, Hackers is awesome.
No, it's awesome, but the logic behind, the hacking, and then the logic behind their video game, it just doesn't.
There's more logic in Hackers.
Yes,
by far. But that's like, you're bringing up another thing. They bring that guy in. So the lead guy, I don't remember the actor's name, but they bring him in to be the face of the video game, even though like Art Hindle is like clearly way more comfortable at talking with people, and he's already the face of the original game. And then they bring in this awkward engineer guy, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And everyone's like, oh man, you're the guy that created the game. And there's a girl just like wants to fuck him and all this stuff. And he's just like, I don't know why I'm here. And I'm like, yeah, neither did the fucking screenwriter, apparently. Because why does anyone need you? Why did they hire you to be the face of this game? Yeah. There's never a reason.
It's mentioned very briefly, again, like all the other stuff, because I think maybe it was one of those things of like trying to leave all these, who it could be, whatever. But what it does, it says something about, because of Art Hindle's character, his quote unquote, his bad boy image, I guess. They want to have somebody that's like a fresh face that won't bring controversy to the game. Which, again, I've never seen anybody put a person as the poster individual of a game. That's not
but even if you were, you would get someone that's like charismatic.
Yeah.
Because they're just supposed to talk to people.
You get like a Steve Jobs type person to,
yeah,
go out there and chat and whatever.
Now that I'm remembering this movie, we also got to talk about how in the first 10 minutes it pauses like 9 times as it goes around the party, and he's just like, oh, that's Craig. He's sassy but sweet. He's my best friend. And then it's like, well, that's Josh. He stole my girlfriend. And it's like, wow, you guys can't think of better ways to introduce characters, maybe through fucking action? I don't know. I'm angry.
That part got to the point. That part got to the point where I was just like, is this motherfucker just trolling himself? Because this is so fucking stupid.
No, so, dude, my thing with...
I just want to say, if they did that so much in the first 10 minutes, I was like, I'm only going to approve of this if they literally do this for the rest of the movie.
This is the werewolf. He spears. So my thing with it is that I think, again, I like whodunit movies. if they're done well. But that's the thing, is movies like that, you look at the movie of Clue, you look at Knives Out, you look at that was more a recent one, but a slew of kind of murder mystery. And even if you have red herrings, which are tricking the audience of it could be this person, whatever, they're very tight in terms of, like, if you want to do a whodunit movie, you have to have like everything lined up and really no plot holes, because it all has to make sense, and it doesn't for this. So sorry for that, but not. But the second part is, it almost felt like it should go way over the top and being campy, but it does, like, it tries to take itself seriously in a way that doesn't work with that type of whodunit murder mystery style, where, like, they should have just, they try with, there's the ultra conservative character who her husband's having an affair with her sister, but
and
they play it.
They quote off verses from the Bible.
Yeah. It's like, if you're gonna do that, then just go like full on over the top theatrics is what I think would have made it better.
I agree. I think that would have made it more fun, because there's a lot of stuff that felt tonally just funky and weird performance.
Yeah, it was like they were going to do that, what we were just suggesting, but then they decided not to, but then they decided they were going to, but then they didn't. You know what I mean? It was like, motherfucker can't decide, and you can just tell, because it does, like, no one's taking this shit seriously. You stole the script from Cursed, and you just fucking changed. I mean, because that's exactly what that movie was. It's like, I don't know how many times I was like, and I'm not like, obviously my buddy Wes made that film, but it's not good, but it was 1,000 fucking times better than this. And I swear there were like multiple times where I was like, again, is this dude like deliberately wanting people to know that he likes Cursed, or because it was pretty obvious to me?
So it plays in a way that, what I didn't get either, and going off of that, is there doesn't ever feel like there's that urgency of, okay, so you have a werewolf, it's killing people. First of all, that creates action right away. Being murdered in general in a movie, and having somebody continuously murder other people, is going to create that action. But it seems like even towards the climax, there's so many parts where they know who the werewolf is now. The werewolf and the people then decide to have not the werewolf, or before the werewolf changes, so the person, they then have this long conversation about them describing why they did it or whatever it may be. But that's why I kept feeling like, of that, it's one of those things where you could have cut most of that dialogue, or they just had these long sections of talking where just have a werewolf chasing people. That's all.
They can't afford
you really
that.
need towards the end. Yeah.
They couldn't afford that. I knew that going in. It's like, you're gonna see this werewolf one time, and I'm gonna be disappointed.
You could see you could do like the POV or whatever, like they did.
Yeah.
In the opening of Dog Soldiers or something like that.
But they also, going off what you just said, they also do that thing that people do way too much, where it was like, we know it's a werewolf and people are getting killed, and there's no way it's a werewolf, they say over and over again, until like 50 minutes in, when they're like, oh, it's a werewolf. And we're just like, yeah, we paid to see a fucking werewolf movie. Like, and you didn't know what to do, so you just wrote all these stupid conversations where his dumb friend is like, I think it's a werewolf. No, it can't be a werewolf. And then we see a werewolf, and then, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so any last minute thing about it? Josh, you have any final words?
I don't know what made me think of this, but so basically, right, there's sort of like two different reveals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really care. I'm gonna fucking spoil it, but so the first one, where it's revealed that I don't remember what was that guy's
He's like
job.
the PR
He was like,
or something. Yeah, I think he's the PR or marketing specialist or something like that.
okay, who gives a fuck? But yeah, that guy is revealed to be the werewolf, and it's like, really? Like, how the fuck? That's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen. And I guarantee, and like, I'm not smart, but I figured out that it was the priest. I bet you
Yeah.
10 minutes after the first time he was on camera, because let's be honest, you never see the motherfucker again. Of course it's fucking him. So yeah, I just, if I figure it out, you're fucking failing, man.
And then so these werewolves, again, this is a very spoiler heavy thing. They apparently can go back and forth, which you can do, but they go back and forth between human and werewolf throughout the night. So it's not like the full moon comes and you're a werewolf until morning or whatever. Yeah.
But again, also speaking of Kevin Williamson stuff, there's fucking 2 of them. Damn, I wonder where that came from.
So that was Beast Within. We got that screener. We will post in the show notes our review as well if you want to check it out, where we probably went a little bit more in depth, maybe. I don't know. We get to kind of, what's nice about this new setup is we can kind of rant a little bit more and make it more conversational than, what you would see in our written review. But if you want to read the review, check it out. And yeah, if that sounds good to you, then go all for it. Yeah, as I said before, I think it, it's one of those projects that could be done, but you would need like a very tight script, and you would need, I don't know, the right people to do it in general.
You need a little bit more werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I mean, fuck, I was excited as shit that, we got a werewolf thing, and it's just like, but it's really almost not.
Well, so
and not enough Art Hindle either.
No.
So if you're going to make this movie, follow our instructions, make a tighter script, better, more werewolf, and more Art Hindle.
I mean, we're basically just giving you $1 million idea right there. Just fucking do what we say.
So thank you for listening to this will, I think, be our second version of Screener Spotlight that'll come out. But thank you for listening, and yeah, as always, enjoy.
Bloodhound Pix podcast is part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcast Network. Produced by Josh Lee, Craig Draheim, and Kyle Hintz. Music by Raymond Seed. Editing by Kyle Hintz.